In today's video, we journey into the mystical world of the Druids, the revered wise ones of ancient Celtic culture. We'll explore how this enigmatic tradition connected with nature through sacred rituals and practices, and by using language to express their connection to the divine energies and innate wisdom of the natural world through their veneration of the mighty oak tree and its evergreen mistletoe. It is little understood that the Druids upheld a rich oral tradition. Much like many other ancient cultures, it was the cornerstone of their cultural and spiritual identity. Rather than relying on written records, they passed down their extensive knowledge of allegorical mythology, genealogy, ritual practices, and natural law across the generations by memorization and recitation. This ancient art relied heavily upon rhythm and rhyme, and poetry and prose to help memorize and immortalize the sacred wisdom. This living tradition was preserved in the art of storytelling and myth-making, with each word imbued with deep symbolic meaning. The process not only safeguarded crucial historical and mystical knowledge, but also ensured that the wisdom of the natural world and the cosmos remained dynamic and ever-evolving, adapting to the needs of each new generation, whilst maintaining the central tenets of the old ways and the old knowledge. Words and sounds were the magic spells that helped the ancients interact and memorialize their experiences, environments, history, and wisdom. The linguistics, etymology, and semantics of our shared languages hold the keys to this age-old wisdom. The Welsh language, perhaps the oldest and best recorded of all the dialects of Great Britain, and the likely tongue of the Druids, is no different. The Druids were akin to the rishis and brahmins of the Vedic Hindu traditions. They were spiritual leaders and teachers, like the ancient sages of the Far East. Some ancient authors likened them to the great magi of Persia and the Middle East. These ancient sages were the keepers of the oral tradition in the north, taking up to 20 years to memorize and learn their craft. The Welsh term for a druid is derwydd. The word derwyddol translates to druidic or druidical, referring to the Druids. It is commonly thought to translate to oak seer, oak knower, or the wisdom of the oak. The term derwydd is thought to be derived from the Welsh words derw, meaning oak, and gwydd, meaning knowledge or seer. The term derw refers to oak or oak trees. Derwen means an oak tree. Derwyn signifies oaken or made of oak, and derry translates to female oak trees. In an alternative interpretation, the Welsh term derwydd can link the great oak tree to the great ancient wisdom. The prefix der relates to strength and doggedness, but also to greatness, exaltedness, and ascension through its phonetic links to the prefix dar. The suffix with, however, relates to both trees and forest, and the idea of wisdom and knowledge. The suffix with relates to nature, woodland, trees, and forests, and is connected to the Welsh term gwyrdd. Interestingly, the word gwyrdd also relates to cognition, knowledge, philosophy, and science. The term gwyddiad translates to cognition. Gwyddiadau means to know. Gwyddiant translates to scientific knowledge, and gwyddonol means philosophical. It is also worth noting, for those with an allegorical ear, that the Welsh term gwydd also translates to goose, and geese are an ancient symbol of protection and wisdom. So, derwydd would translate to the great or exalted wisdom, but also the great or exalted tree. I would associate both these concepts with the trunk or spine of the human body and its miraculous and transformative branching nervous system. To further the anatomical allegory concerning the great teachers of the North, the Druids, and the mighty oak tree, we need look no further than the fertility rites and practices in the mystery traditions surrounding the mighty oak tree and its winter time companion, the mistletoe plant. In physiological allegory, the tree is a symbolic representation of the human body. The trunk and branches signify the various systems within the body, including the central and peripheral nervous systems, the cardiovascular system, and the lymphatic system. An acorn, as the seed of the tree, represents the seed of the human body, imbued with the creative force. The mistletoe plant is a powerful emblem of the creative energy in the dark days of winter. Although considered a parasite, this climbing plant was venerated and honoured by many ancient peoples. Its white berries, which are symbolic of male semen, were harvested with care and intention at times of sacred ceremonies and initiations. The Roman author, naturalist and philosopher Pliny the Elder remarked on the Druids, the oak tree and the mistletoe. The Druids, or the Celtic magicians, held nothing more sacred than the mistletoe and the tree that bears it, always supposing that tree to be the oak. But they choose groves of oaks for the sake of the tree alone, and they never perform any of their rites except in the presence of a branch of it. Mistletoe is believed to have been utilised in love spells, protection spells, and to bring success in hunting, increase sexual potency in men, and even help women conceive. It has also been used as a medicine for all manner of ailments and illnesses over the centuries. A wonderful interpretation of the connection between mistletoe, the creative forces of the human body, its fertility, and the idea of bioelectricity through the thunder gods of old can be found in the mysterious quote. To the Celts, mistletoe berries were known as the semen of the thunder god, while ancient Greeks referred to them as oak sperm. This, of course, can be linked to the ancient practice of semen retention and the enhancement of our bioelectrical nervous system, which, in turn, allows for a better connection to the divine. In our rapidly changing world, maintaining a connection to our ancient traditions is more vital now than ever. By reconnecting with the wisdom of our ancestors, we honour their legacy, a legacy that has shaped our identity and enriched our collective spirit. Our languages, legends, and culture are not mere relics of the past. They are living, evolving forces that have the power to inspire and transform. They are time capsules that hold the keys not only to our history, but also to our future and our true potential as a species. In this video, we look at the etymological, philosophical, spiritual, and energetic links between the Druids, the serpent, and the human spinal column and nervous system. The Druids, revered as the ancient priests and lawgivers of northwestern Europe, are deeply intertwined with the serpent symbolism found across many of our shared cultures and traditions. This connection is founded upon the principles of esoteric wisdom, sacred knowledge, and the exploration of natural philosophy. This ancient wisdom, when viewed through a physiological and energetic lens, invariably points to the vital importance of the human spinal column and its central role in the control and dissemination of our tree-like nervous system. It can be easily related to the all-pervading life force, the one true energy that runs through all living beings, bioelectricity. In ancient Egypt, the rearing cobra, the uraeus, was exalted as a symbol of royal authority and divine protection, adorning the pharaoh's headdress as a sign of enlightenment and sovereignty. In Greek mythology, serpents were central to the healing arts, most notably represented by the staff of Asclepius, which signified health, renewal, regeneration, and the cyclical natural energies of life. In the Indian tradition, Nagas are revered as both custodians and protectors of esoteric wisdom, embodying the forces of life energy, or Kundalini. Interestingly, the Kundalini energy is said to dwell as a serpent in the lower spine of every human being. Additionally, Mesoamerican cultures celebrated the feathered serpent, like Quetzalcoatl, as a god of wind, wisdom, and creation. In the north, too, the Druids worshipped the serpent and its transformative powers. In the fold of the bards, Taliesin, a legendary Welsh poet, says, "I am a wise man. I am a serpent." This beautiful poem highlights the connection between the Druids and the wisdom of the serpent. What's more, Druids are said to have carried a special amulet, a snake stone or serpent glass, which was believed to be formed by snakes. Some, however, link it to lightning strikes, and both references can be linked to the sacred universal energy and bioelectricity. The Celtic thunder god Tyrannus is deeply connected to fertility rites, the harnessing of creative energy, and the concept of semen retention, symbolised through his sacred association with the oak tree and mistletoe plant. Furthermore, Tyrannus's envoys are said to be the zigzagged adders, whose movement and markings are thought to represent lightning and the awe-inspiring universal forces. This association only underscores the symbolic link between the serpent-like spinal column and the powerful electrical forces that are found in the heavens, on the earth, and within the sensitive human nervous system. In the Welsh language, the backbone is known as Glain Cefn, and Glain Cefn can be translated as the jewelled ridge. This metaphorical reference to the human spinal column and its obvious connection to the idea of gems, jewels, or something rare and important perfectly encapsulates the subtle wisdom of the old British Druids, as well as the ancient knowledge keepers in general. In the Welsh language, glain means jewel or stone, and is also related to the term for serpent stone or adder stone. Another term for these magical stones is the serpent's egg. The serpent's egg is a symbol of Druidic lore, and an amulet or necklace was often worn to symbolise this ancient belief by the priesthood and nobility. This tradition has a long history in the Druidic cultures of Northern Europe. Wikipedia says on the matter of the serpent's egg, or the adder stone, in Britain they are sometimes called hagstones or snake's eggs, or glain nider in Wales, milprif in Cornwall, adderstains in the south of Scotland, and glain nandroedd, Druid's glass, in Scottish Gaelic in the north. In Germany, they are called Hunnergötter, or chicken or rooster gods. In Egypt, they are called Agri or Agri. And please do excuse my pronunciation there. An intriguing connection, however, emerges when serpent stones are viewed as symbolic representations of the spinal vertebrae, mirroring the serpent's association with the spinal column. These solid, disc-like bones serve as guardians of the spinal cord and central nervous system, providing both structural integrity and fluidity necessary for physical movement. Additionally, they create a protected pathway for the conserved creative energy as it ascends the spinal column, ultimately culminating at the head centre, the serpent's egg, the inner eye, or the thalamus, the inner chamber. In Welsh, the serpent's egg is called glain nider, meaning the gem or jewel of the adder or serpent. The Welsh word glain means jewel or gem, but, as mentioned, is also related to a word for the backbone. The term nider means an adder or a serpent. In some modern interpretations, the Druids were referred to as the nadredd, or serpents, linking them symbolically to the adder, a snake native to the British Isles and northwestern Europe. This association underscores the enduring significance of serpentine imagery in Druidic lore and its ties to wisdom, transformation, lightning, the spinal column, and the natural world. Here is a quote or paraphrase from the Roman author Pliny the Elder regarding Druidic magic and, in particular, the egg of the serpent. There is a sort of egg in great repute among the Gauls, of which the Greek writers have made no mention. A vast number of serpents are twisted together in summer and coiled up in an artificial knot by their saliva and slime, and this is called the serpent's egg. The Druids say that it is tossed in the air with hissings and must be caught in a cloak before it touches the earth. The person who thus intercepts it flies on horseback, for the serpents will pursue him until prevented by intervening water. This egg, though bound in gold, will swim against the stream. And the Magi are cunning to conceal their frauds. They give out that this egg must be obtained at a certain age of the moon. The possible anatomical allegory behind this cherished Druidic tradition of the serpent's egg may shed light on their ancient customs and a once widespread body of physiological and energetic knowledge, profoundly beneficial in its time, yet now often ridiculed obscured and monopolised. Please see my video on serpent symbolism for a more detailed interpretation of this puzzling riddle. Interestingly, and worthy of note for the sensitive individual, is the magical connection between the Welsh language, the Druids, the serpent or adder, the phases of the moon, the human spinal column, and the powerful, awe-inspiring terrestrial phenomenon of lightning, all of which can be tied quite nicely to the emerging importance of the all-pervading universal force, the Awen of Welsh law, the Maigen of the Old Norse, the Chi of the Taoists, the Prana of the Vedic Brahmins, the manna from heaven in biblical teachings, the ether of the great Greek thinkers, or, on the human scale, bioelectricity. These subtle metaphors regarding the ancient wisdom are found not only in our shared languages and etymologies, but also in our mythologies, legends, and folklore. They are like hidden clues, leading us to a better understanding of our ancient ancestors, our history, ourselves, and a possible bright and enlightened future. In this video, we will explore the deep-rooted significance of the moon, an age-old emblem of reflection, regeneration, and the creative force. We'll delve into how its etymology and symbolism have guided us through the ages, leaving an indelible mark on the psyche of humanity. Please stay tuned to the end of the video, where we will look into the mysteries of the moon and the human body and provide some sound advice for those on the path of inner enlightenment. Since days of old, the full moon has been viewed as a time of heightened energies, a time of culmination, completion, and transformation. It is at this time that the creative force is at its most potent, and the legends, languages, and allegories of our ancient ancestors capture this idea beautifully. The Romans personified the moon as a goddess, Luna. Her influence was said to extend to fertility, childbirth, and the natural cycles of time. The term Luna traces back to the Proto-Italic word luxna, which is derived from the Proto-Indo-European root luxno, signifying light or brightness. In ancient Egypt, Thoth, the god of wisdom, was deeply linked to the moon's phases, symbolising the cyclical nature of life, knowledge, and enlightenment. Khonshu, another significant lunar deity, was revered as a god of fertility. He enhanced virility and aided conception, influencing the fertility of the land and human body alike. Additionally, Khonshu was associated with healing and protection, reflecting the moon's vital influences. The Druids of the North are also believed to have held a profound reverence for the moon, meticulously aligning their rituals and ceremonies with its phases. In Celtic mythology too, the moon often took on the persona of a deity, representing intuition, change, and the natural cycles of life. The Druids saw the moon's influence extending to all facets of existence, from agriculture and fertility to personal growth and the astronomical cycles. The Druids were known to choose the 6th day of the new moon for their rituals. According to the Roman author Pliny the Elder, the Druids hold nothing more sacred than the mistletoe and oak tree. Mistletoe is rare, and when found, it is gathered with great ceremony, particularly on the 6th day of the moon. This connection between mistletoe, the moon, the creative forces, fertility, and male semen may highlight the importance the Druids placed on semen retention and the regenerative powers of this ancient practice. The waxing and waning of the moon symbolises the ebb and flow of creative forces within the human body. Its white shine and constantly renewing appearance, much like the pearly white mistletoe berries, represent the power of semen and the concept of semen retention through the lunar phases. Much like the Latin term lunar, the Welsh language, a dialect very close to the language of the Druids, holds fascinating connotations regarding the subtle etymological meanings of our celestial satellite, the moon. In the Welsh dialect, the word for moon is llwyr. Llwyr is the moon. It is sometimes put for a lunar year or month. The term llwyrawl means lunar, belonging to the moon, and llwyriad is a lunation, a complete revolution of the moon. The Welsh term llwyrigol translates to becoming a lunatic, likely alluding to the potent forces our ancestors saw at play during the full moon. Interestingly, the moon's connections extend to an ancient title for the islands of Great Britain. In Welsh, Lloegr refers to the historic name for ancient Britain, perhaps highlighting the moon's influence on the language and culture of these wonderful islands. It is worth noting that this connection is not made on the Wikipedia page. Logres is King Arthur's realm in the matter of Britain, and it derives from the medieval Welsh word Lloegr, a name of uncertain origin referring to south and eastern England. In the Old Welsh Dictionary, we are told that Lloegr is England on this side of the Humber, excluding Wales and Cornwall. Perhaps the moon is the origin of this old title. And the references to the heavenly bodies can be extended to the sun through another Welsh name for Britain, Prydain. In this correlation, the suffix dain can be linked to our star by the Welsh word Taidain, the sun. The word dain relates to purity and beauty, and the prefix tai or ti relates to a house. So, the term Taidain, meaning the sun, can be interpreted as the pure or beautiful house. The Welsh word for Britain, Prydain, has a similar meaning when translated in the same fashion. The prefix pry or pri relates to produce or origin, so Prydain can be read as the pure origin or the producer of beauty. A wonderful epithet for our life-giving star and these productive islands, perhaps suggesting that Great Britain may have derived its original ancient names from the celestial bodies. What's more, these are the same heavenly orbs that the ancient Britons may have honoured through their iconic stone circles. This concept can be extended further with the Welsh word llwyran. The term llwyran translates to a circle. This could well reference the shape of the moon, and perhaps the monument at Stonehenge, which some believe to be a seasonal marker and an observatory for the celestial bodies. The Welsh title for the moon, Llwyr, also highlights its relationship with light. The word Llwygan translates to the moon shining or moonlight, and this can be easily linked to the light of the sun and the Celtic deity Llyw. The Welsh word llwg, which is phonetically and contextually similar to llwyd, translates directly to the English word light. The Welsh word llwygain means a teeming with light, and llwygan is what glitters and glares. This beautiful connection between the moon, the lands of the Celts, and the idea of light is further supported by the etymological origins of the Roman deity Luna, which, as mentioned earlier, is derived from the Proto-Indo-European root luxno, signifying light or brightness. It is, and always has been, a common belief that the phases of our rocky satellite influence female fertility cycles. This is one of the many reasons the moon has, for the most part, been associated with the feminine principle throughout the ages. However, the moon's monthly revolution may also significantly impact the biological processes within the male body. Practicing the ancient art of semen retention enhances sensitivity, enlivens the nervous system, and heightens bioelectrical energy. The moon and its cycles amplify this enhancement, pulling and pushing on the body's waters and fluids. Semen retention is often regarded as a practice that conserves the human body's vital energy. It is believed to enhance physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. This concept is rooted in various ancient traditions, where the preservation of the life force was thought to lead to greater vitality, clarity of mind, inner strength, and a firmer connection to the higher powers. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, so too does the energy within us. Imagine the moon as a celestial mirror reflecting the ebb and flow of this vital energy. During the waxing moon, energy builds, providing growth, creativity, and the accumulation of the life force. As the moon reaches its full brilliance, it represents the peak of this conserved creative force, a time of illumination and clarity. This is when the benefits of retention are most apparent, manifesting as increased vitality, mental sharpness, and a deeper connection to one's inner self. However, it is also a time when heightened energy can become problematic and cause dangerous fluctuations of the conserved life force. The waning moon, on the other hand, symbolises renewal and introspection. It is a time to reflect on the journey, understand the cycles of energy within, and prepare for the next full moon. This phase encourages a mindful approach to the natural rhythms of life, recognising that just as the moon will wax again, so too will the energy within us. Paying close attention to the moon and its phases when first starting on the journey of creative energy work, or semen retention in the case of a male practitioner, can help us better understand the practice. In this poetic dance of the moon and our inner vitality, semen retention becomes a practice of aligning with the natural cycles, fostering a deeper connection to the rhythms of life and the universe. This connection between the phases of the moon and the heightened and enhanced human nervous system is what our ancient and subtle wise ancestors were alluding to in our shared languages, legends, fairy tales, and allegories. For us to know